Welcome back to another real estate investing talk show where we come together to celebrate all the good in real estate and for you to get your questions answered from an expert. And that would be me, your host, Zack Childress. So I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to open the gates to all your questions. So for those of you joining us for the first time, this is your real estate investing talk show where we bring you the truth in real estate from a real investor and a real coach. And are you with me? You need to be with me. Show me you're with me. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you got going on. Any questions you got. We've got an amazing topic today. Let me see some thumbs up. Let me see some what is it, love, happy faces. You show them. I'm happy to see them. So welcome to your show, Facebook. This is what it's about. Coming to you live in the hometown of Alabama. So if you guys are joining me for the first time, we do these shows every Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone. And we do our Dig Deeper book review every Wednesday at 1:30 Eastern Time Zone. So what is today all about? It's about all that love. Look, somebody gave me a flower. How about that? I got a flower from somebody. That was pretty cool. Sammy from Phoenix is on. What do you say, Sammy? Good to have you on, Sammy. Sammy. Athens, Alabama, Francisca is. Welcome back, Francisca. So, guys, if you don't know, I am not typing and talking at the same time. That's the lovely Jill. Say hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
If you guys know Jill, give Jill a shout out. Say hi, Jill. Give Jill some love on here today because she's the brains behind the camera. And Justin. So
we'll give Justin the brains.
We'll give Justin the brains. Jill's just here to participate. She needs a participation trophy.
Yes.
All right, good stuff. So here's the good news. We have a great topic today. Today's topic is all about creative financing. We're going to dig into Tier 2 investing. We're going to talk about some topics that you're interested in, which is how do I build a rental portfolio without buying a house? That'd be cool, right? It's possible. We're going to talk about it today. And we're also going to do our Blog Talk Radio today, too. And we're going to let everybody out there from podcast to Blog Talk hear the message that we're sharing. Toby's on with us, too. Hi, Toby. Look at there. See, I can see it now. Like Jill usually telling me, but now I can see it. They got me all set up in here different today. I got everything at my fingertips right now. So this is good. I like it. Where did Francisca go? She was on here. Now I don't see her anymore.
She's here.
Oh, is she? Okay.
Yep.
I've been waiting for this topic. That's good. I got you guys on all kinds of streams right now. So my goal today is to be annoying. That is my goal today. Why is my goal today to be annoying? Well, because I had somebody come on one of my posts and say, Zach, you're annoying. Well, if I was annoying, why did he watch me for 45 minutes? 45 minutes he watched me. I can't be that annoying. Obviously, he got some value out of me and my annoyingness. So today and today only, I am going to be annoying. And I'm going to start with my most annoying thing that I can start with. You ready? So
Welcome back to your real estate event.
Well, that didn't work out very well, did it? You know what it is? I got this over here going live. Let me mute that out. So here's my annoying. Let's see if I can do it again.
Your life.
Nope. Well, that's not working out. I clicked the wrong thing. You guys, bear with me. Here we go. We're going to dig into the training in just a minute. Yeah, I'm gonna be annoying today. That's my goal. Because you know why? I love real estate. And if you don't love real estate, then there's a problem. You're doing what you don't love. So why don't you do what you love and then you can be in the spirit with me, man? Get it together. Get in the groove. I can teach you everything you want to know. By the way, if you have not registered for my event this weekend, you better get on. We're coming to Denver this weekend, Friday through Sunday, teaching you guys all about the real estate market. You guys keep your emails open because guess what? I'm launching this book. Launching the book, My First Deal Playbook. It's coming to you this next week. So we're launching it. If you want your free copy of my new book, then all you need to do is put in the comments. You just need to put in the comments, Zach, I want my free book. I want my free book. I want my free book. If you say that, I will give you this book for free. You pay for the shipping and handling, and I will sign you a personal copy, and I will ship this out to you. I think the shipping is, what's the shipping, Jill?
$5.95 or $6.95.
It's like $5 or $6. That's all it is, okay? $5 or $6. That's all you need to worry about. And you get a book for free. You get a book for free that will change your destiny. It will change the direction in which you go. And just to help you understand a little bit about what's going on, we're talking about why real estate right now. What's the best investing strategy for you? What are the investing strategies? Finding the best deals, researching your deals, making offers. Do you need money or do you not need money? Which is a segue into what we're teaching today, which is all about you don't need money to do tier 2. Finding your buyers, closing the deal, getting paid, and what type of money can you really make? You know, there's a lot of promises out there how to make $1 million overnight. That's not the truth, guys. You got to have a really logical plan about this. So, Toby says, hi, Jill.
Hi, Toby.
Do it, she says. I want my free book. How about that? We got a lot of people on today. That's awesome. Love that. So here's the reality. For all my Blog Talk Radio listeners and my Facebook fans, if you're listening to me on a podcast or you're listening to me on Blog Talk, I encourage you, you need to go over to Creative Real Estate Training on Facebook. Creative Real Estate Training on Facebook, okay? You need to do that because here's why. Then you get to ask me questions. You get to see what's going on. It's Creative Real Estate Training Academy. We do live on Facebook, hence why I'm talking to my Facebook fans right now. Get on there. Be part of what we do. Ask questions. I mean, we ain't even been on here 7 minutes. We've already had over 200 people watch this thing so far. So this is a movement that's happening, and you need to be on this thing. You need to be watching. You need to be asking questions. I get it that you're watching this at night or you're listening to it at night. You need to jump over on Facebook, join our Creative Real Estate Training Academy, and watch our episodes. Learn from us. Listen, I ain't no guru, okay? I'm your coach. And if you want to get coached, the first thing you need to do is get my book. That's the first thing you need to do. And then you need to come on here and you need to listen to what we have to say. And you need to pay attention. You need to ask questions. And you need to engage in what's going on in the real estate market by being here with us in this episode and many other episodes to come. So I share those with you because I want you to learn and also know when you get on that page, you got to like the page. You got to share the stream. The greatest gift you can ever do is create a ripple in this world to help others. How do you create a ripple? You share a message. You share a message that impacted you and that can impact others. That message is right here today. How do you get started in real estate? How do you get started in real estate, start to make cash flow without ever buying a property? That's a question. Jill, can you turn your phone down?
I'm trying to. It won't go down.
So those are some things we need to talk about. So let's dig in a little bit. Let's just dig in a little bit right now. So if you got any questions for me, you should fire them away right now so that Jill can get on top of those. And the more you get on those questions in, the better we'll be. Okay? But today's topic is Tier 2 investing. Now, let me help you understand what Tier 2 is. Now, in our world, we teach and we educate on 4 different tiers of investing.
Can you hear that?
How loud?
I think, let me go check with our control guy real quick because it won't let me turn it down.
Is it on your phone?
It's in my head. It's in my head.
It's in your head. I'm in Jill's head. I'm in Jill's head.
Turn
So let me walk you through the 4 tiers, okay? So tier 1 is wholesaling, which this is where most people start. They mostly start in tier 1, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, and a tier 1 investor is typically the investor who doesn't have a whole lot of knowledge, can't really figure out a lot of things yet. They're learning. They don't have very much capital, or, you know, in their mind, they want quick cash, so they go after tier 1 investing strategies. Tier 1 is wholesaling. Now, listen, a lot of times people think they should start as a tier 1, and that is the farthest from the truth. They should not only do tier 1, but they should do other tiers as well. They just don't realize it yet, or they haven't educated themselves on it. So typically the progression of growth is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Tier 2 being creative investing, where we control properties, where we leave financing in place and we take possession of the asset, or we control the asset and we protect our rights by some form of a memorandum, which we're going to talk about that today. Tier 3 is when we move into the bigger paydays. That's when we move into like fix and flips. We get really, you know, advanced into putting deals together, getting contractors or handymans or subcontractors bidding and creating a budget and creating an understanding of what it's going to sell for, and then moving into that project with budget management, contractor management to get it fixed to its glory, or what it's supposed to look like in that market, to then sell it for a retail price and make $20, $30, $40, $50, $60,000 on that deal. Then the ultimate driving force and goal is tier 4. Tier 4 is passive investing. Tier 4 is where we're in a position to where we can start moving our capital into rental properties. Why? So that we can live on the passive investments, so that we can live on the cash flow. We can build assets to produce cash flow to us. Good investments, good debt. Now, I want you to understand something. Tier 2 and Tier 4 are kind of similar because they both give us the ability to create cash flow. It's just one, you own the asset, so you get all the benefits of that, and the other one, you don't own the asset. You control the asset, but you get the advantage of being able to rent it out or lease it out so that you can have cash flow off of it. That is the beauty of tier 2. Because here's why. Not everybody can move right into a tier 4 and start buying rental properties. But everybody, and I mean everybody, can move into tier 2 and start controlling real estate for the purpose of getting a property where the payment you're taking over is less than, listen to me, less than the rental market for that property. When you have that scenario, you have a position of cash flow. So that is the story today. That is what we're going to dig in today. For my blog talk and for my iPad or iPod, what are they called? Podcast listeners. You can tell I'm up to speed here.
We just got too much new going on.
I mean, I got all this new stuff going on around me. I just don't know what to do with it all. So, but for all my listeners, that's what the story is today. This is Zack Childress with your real estate investing talk show for today's market. I'll be right back. Facebook, talk to me. What you guys got for me? Jill, what we got? Somebody's laughing at me because I didn't know it was called an iPod listener or podcast listener. See, I still don't know. That's the beauty of this. I don't need to know. If I put the right people around me, anything's possible, right? It's all about the people. It's all about who you network with. It's all about the relationships. So
Chris has my back, and he says, I do not hear her phone.
Oh, Chris, you're taking up for her? I do not hear her phone. I got you, Chris. Hey, somebody needs to get her back. I'll tell you that.
So, he also would like to know, how does he get his free book?
Oh, you just did it. If all you gotta do is type in, I want my free book, and that's it. They'll bring me a book. I'll sign it for you. They'll reach out to you, get it all squared away, and then they'll get it in the mail to you. You just did it, Chris. Good job. Way to follow directions, my friend.
We have Patrick Jonas on here. He says that Patrick, free great book, get now from the master Zack.
Way to go, Patrick. I don't know, calling me a master, that seems a little, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But you know, I'm just a coach, my friend, but I appreciate the compliment. And it is a great book. This is a great book. Everybody that has gotten this book has sent us amazing reviews for this and how it lays out a solid plan of action for them. So I encourage everybody to get this book, especially while I'm giving it away for free right now. I mean, all you got to do is pay the shipping and handling. That's it. Like, that's a deal. A deal and a half, and I'm actually going to sign it for you to you. So now you'll even have it better for you. So anyways, I appreciate all the compliments. Thanks, Patrick. Thank you. Francisca says great book too. Way to go, Francisco.
Jill says you're taking my job.
Well, because you're not moving fast enough for me, Jill.
Carly says, annoy me, please.
Annoy you? Okay. You want me to annoy you, Carly? I can annoy the best of the people. My son gets it from me.
He's not annoying. He's sweet.
Who, my son?
Yes.
Hey, listen, you guys think I'm joking with you. I had a guy make a post that I was annoying, but he watched for 45 minutes. So, I mean, annoy away, right? So,
hopefully he got something out of it.
Oh, I know he did.
He was just a negative Nelly.
They're all negative Nellies until they meet me. All right, guys, where's the questions? I'm going to dig in. I got 3 parts I'm going to talk to you about today. 3 parts. Now you know what we're talking about, but I'm going to talk about 3 parts. So get your questions in, okay?
We are going to go back
Boom.
On air in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, it's Zack Childress. Welcome back to your real estate investing talk show. I hope you didn't go far. You didn't go anywhere. Make sure you're listening up. And if you're just now popping on and you fast forward or whatever you did, and you're just now getting to me, this is Zack Childress. I am your coach. I'm not your guru. I'm the guy that's going to tell you what you need to do, whether you like it or not. I'm going to tell you what works and what doesn't work. And also, if you haven't joined our Creative Real Estate Training Academy Facebook page, you need to be part of the group, be part of what we do, ask questions live with us, share the stream, like the page, do all the things you need to do to be part of what we're doing. We're trying to help you get through this murky water of investing so that you know exactly how to get there. So our topic today is Tier 2 investing, lease options. We talked a little bit about what we're going to, what's the purpose of a lease options? To control property so we can rent them out. There's 3 main topics we're going to talk about today. Number 1 is how do we find sellers? Number 2 is how do we find buyers? And number 3 is what you need to know to be safe. Isn't that the reality? Now, I don't have 3 days to teach you lease options here today, but I got about 45 minutes to dig into it with you. And if you like what you hear, share the stream, share it, dig deeper. Remember, the only way you'll ever change your finances is when you start to own your own life. You got to own your own life. You can hashtag that. You can hashtag dig deeper. You can even hashtag 5F lifestyle. Because we believe in the 5F lifestyle, which is we're going to work on ourselves so that we can get to the freedom that we want. And that, my friend, is how you start to change some things. So how do we find sellers for this amazing strategy called lease options? Lease options. I built a fortune on lease options when I was getting started out in California because here's what I know. I knew that I was not in a position to buy rental properties, but I also knew that I wanted cash flow every single month. I knew that. I knew it without a shadow of a doubt. I knew that the only way to stabilize my life or even stabilize my business, I needed monthly cash flow coming in consistently into my life and my business. And how do you achieve that? Through investment of assets that spin off cash flow. So the only other way to do that is a Tier 2 strategy. So I started trying to figure out how do I make this strategy work for me? Hence, the seller types. So here's a very important thing you need to understand. If you have any of my courses, if you have my automated deal maker, If you have my 30-day fast track, if you have our quick cash, there are scripts that we give you. And these scripts are very important that you learn and you review them over and over, because that language is the language in which you need to talk about and you need to learn. For instance, in our 30-day fast track course, we have scripts for talking with lease options. And the number one thing that you're listening for is when a seller demonstrates payment pain. When a seller acknowledges they have payment pain. Well, how do we get a seller to acknowledge they have payment pain? Well, when we're asking about their property, then we could say, are there anything or things that I need to be aware of that might come up during the closing? Like, are you current on your payments? Or do you have any arrearages that need to be addressed, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? Well, I'm behind 2 payments. Okay, that's a payment pain. That means that they're missing payments, which means they can't keep up with their payments, which means we're now moving them into a category of some type of lease option structure. Because why? Because we can take over those payments, we can clean up those arrearages, pull them out of foreclosure, and now we just did them a good service and we've done ourselves a good service because we didn't have to get a loan. Okay? Now, if they say, well, no, I'm not behind, I will always rebuttal or come back behind that with a question that says, are you going to be able to keep those payments current over the next 3 to 6 months while you're trying to sell it? And if they say, well, yeah, maybe or maybe not, I don't know, I don't want to waste money, I might just walk away from it. That's another sign of payment pain. So those are very important for you to acknowledge when you're listening to a conversation. The other type of motivated seller that this works great for is anybody that is in an expired listing category. So when someone gives their property to an agent and the agent signs a 6-month or a 12-month, listing agreement with them, and that agent doesn't sell it, well, then it becomes expired. So now that seller, if they're motivated, tried to sell it, they couldn't sell it, and now they are looking at an option of walking away from it, listing it again and hoping it sells, or do they rent it? So you could step in and offer them the perfect tenant program where you take over all their payments and all the responsibilities to the property, and they get all the benefits of being a landlord without any of the headaches. And that's the beauty of a lease option. See, when we sandwich a lease option, meaning we structure a lease option with the seller and then we sell it to a tenant buyer with an option to buy, we're basically mirroring the contracts. With the seller, we're acknowledging to the seller that we're going to be responsible for everything. Leaky toilets, broken fences, broken windows, it doesn't matter. We're responsible unless it's a structural damage. Then the insurance needs to kick in, but we're responsible for the deductible. So really, we're putting the homeowner in a lender type position, because the reality is if you've got a loan with Bank of America, are you going to call Bank of America and tell them that your dishwasher's broken? No, you're not. And that's the same language that we're using with the seller so that they understand this is a great deal for them. Now with us, we turn around with our tenant buyer and we put the paperwork in place that says the exact same thing to the tenant buyer. You're responsible for everything. So what happens is we're taking responsibility and we're passing that responsibility off so that we're just in the middle of something great, collecting monthly cash flow. And so these sellers appreciate this. Another great form to find these sellers, and there's a bunch of them, but I'm going to give you 3 here today. If you want to know all of them, you need to come to our event. Our next one is this weekend in Denver, Colorado, which is in the description above. But with the third one, it is really rental ads. So we're calling rental ads, and we're not looking for property management, and we're not looking for agents. We're looking for homeowners that have decided to rent their house because they couldn't sell it. Do you understand? That is a surefire way to determine payment pain. Why? Because they tried to sell it and they couldn't. They can't keep up with the payment anymore. So now they're reluctant, but they are going to rent that property out to stop the bleeding. That's what it's about, to stop the bleeding. So that is what's important. Now, those are 3 of the many different ways to find sellers. Now, use those 3, you'll be great. Well, how do you find them? Well, you run ads that say your job's your credit. Why rent when you can own? You do direct mail to expired listings. You call rental ads. These are all ways. You got to make an effort to go after them. And you got to understand the process in which you take them through. Now, when I get a seller to say yes to all of this, I'm going to put together what's called a purchase an option to purchase agreement, all in one. Option to purchase agreement, okay? Which basically just says that I have the option to purchase this property at a later date. Typically, you negotiate anywhere from 4 to 6 year terms. You take over their payment, if not, maybe a little bit more, and you're not really giving them a whole lot of down payment. Maybe $100, as a down payment, or a lot of times we don't even give anything. So it's all in your ability to communicate and negotiate the transaction. Because you got to remember, if they're having payment pain, then they're usually are in a process or very close to a process of moving into a foreclosure process, which will affect their credit, and we're helping them from that. So you're really offering a huge service to these people. And why would they do it? Well, because they can't sell it. A lot of times they owe too much. The beauty of a lease option is you only need 3 to 6% of equity in it. That's it. That's all you need, 3 to 6%. And you can turn a deal into a good deal. Now I'm not going to get all deep in this. I talk about this at the boot camp, but you can even take a property that's upside down and structure this deal with it and turn it into a profitable deal. That's the beauty of that. So that's all about the sellers. We're going to dig into the buyers next. Hey, this is Zack Childress. Listen up. Don't go very far. Maybe run to the bathroom, get a glass of water, but come right back and we'll get back on the radio with you. Facebook. Any questions, Jill?
Yes, we have, excuse me, if I had a voice, we have Justin who says, so how do I know how to secure that kind of a deal if they've not paid in 5 months? I will be in Denver. Will you teach us this?
Boom. I will teach you. And you know what? That's a great question, Justin. And I appreciate your question, Justin, very much. So the question is how do you secure that kind of a deal? You secure it with what's called an option to purchase agreement. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that when it comes to how to keep yourself safe. But I think the real question you're asking is if they're behind 5 months, how's that a deal? Well, you've got to get them to give you what's called an authorization to release information. Authorization to release information. And that gives you the ability to go to their bank and talk to them on their behalf. Hey, how far behind? Because see, a seller will tell you, oh, well, I'm 5 months behind. My payment's $500 a month. I'm $2,500 behind. But well, that's bogus because that's just the arrearages. That's not all the taxes and penalties and fees the bank's going to slap on them. So we've got to get an actual number. Once we know that number, let's say the number's $3,000. Well, there's a fee that we collect from our tenant buyer called an option fee. Well, we've got to now make sure that option fee is greater than what we have to do or pay to clean up the arrearages. So if the arrearages is $3,000, then I can't go collect an option fee for $3,000 because then I make no money. So I'd have to collect an option fee for $6,000 or $9,000. So let's say I get $9,000. Well, then I can take $3,000 of that $9,000 and I can pay it to the lender to clean up their back payments, to clean up their arrearages, get them out of the foreclosure process, get a clean title on that property, and then I can take $6,000 of that option fee and put it in Hip National Bank pocket, and then I'm rolling down the road. So, good question.
Okay, so we have Jill who says,
Jill.
I like the idea of being the bank, but how can I be the bank with no capital?
I just explained it. That's it. We're controlling the property, Jill.
And then Justin says,
hold on, Jill. Let's dig into your question. So, I mean, the paperwork is what allows us to control it, right?
Right.
But I think your question is with no capital. So if I'm able to control that property and there are no arrearages and I can get the seller to agree to a lease option right then with no down payment, take over payments on a 4-year term, what am I spending?
A big fat zero.
A zero. Now, if they're in arrearages and there's money that has to be brought to the table, like the example of the $3,000, where am I getting that money from?
So you have to, and this plays into Justin's question. He says, "Do I have a buyer before I find the house?" So you have
not always
lined up.
Well, the question is if I find out there's $3,000 in arrearages, am I going to pay that out of my pocket? No. The answer is no. because I'm going to do my marketing for my tenant buyers. Even if I don't have them, I'm going to go market for them.
Because you have 30 days.
Right. We have a due diligence period. We have a time to close. We have all this. And the reality is you should be marketing for tenant buyers at the same time you're marketing for the sellers, so that you can pull them in at the same time. But I'm going to be looking for tenant buyers that have a option fee greater than what I have to pay in arrearages. So not only can I use their money to pay off the arrearages and pull them out of foreclosure, but I also have enough spread in there that I can put some money in Hip National Bank pocket.
And just so our viewers know, what is Hip National Bank?
It's that pocket right on the side of your pants. You go cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. It's that pocket, that sits on the side, and it's the one that every time you deposit money in it, you go, I just made some more money. That's what it is right there. Hip National Bank pocket. That's what it is. So, good question, guys. All right, who else got a question for the coach? I'm with you. You got to talk to me, people. You got to talk to me. You got to talk to me. You got to talk to me. If you don't talk to me, who are you going to talk to? The mirror?
Hopefully not, because sometimes that gets them into trouble.
The mirror? Because here's why. You are only as smart as the person you're staring at in the mirror. So if you want to learn, you got to find somebody else that's smarter than you about the topic in which you're trying to learn. You want to know how to grow? Find a coach. That's the reality. All right, we got to go back, guys. I got to get this show on the road.
So we're going to go back on air in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, welcome back. This is Zack Childress with your real estate investing talk show for today's marketplace. So I don't know where you've been. I don't know what you've been doing, but we're here talking about real estate. And if you're not on Facebook Live, you would have been learning from us the whole time. We don't go on break on Facebook Live. So get over to Creative Real Estate Training Academy. Get over there, join it, like our page, share the stream, guys. Share the stream. Make a ripple in the world. Make a ripple in the world. Make a ripple in the world. So listen, I left you guys off with how to find sellers. We're going to move on to part 2. How to find buyers. So what are the buyer types that we're looking for? Well, they're known as tenant buyers. They're known as tenant buyers. Why are they known as tenant buyers? Because they are a tenant before they become a buyer. Okay? That's why it's called tenant buyer. And these are not renters. It's very, very important that you understand that we are not looking for renters. Renters do not have the mindset of home ownership. Very simple qualification. Are you looking to rent or own? Well, rent. Okay, well, we're not looking for renters. We're looking for potential homeowners that we can help, listen to my language, that we can help attain home ownership. What? Oh, well, I would love to be a homeowner. You can help me do this? Absolutely. Your job's your credit. Why rent when you can own? That's the ad that you called. Okay, well, great. I only thought I could rent. Well, let me talk to you about our program and how we help home or potential homeowners like yourself become homeowners. We acquire properties that we are able to lease, and we sublease those out to families like yourself that want to be in home ownership, are aware of the responsibilities to become a homeowner, and we give you 2 years. Now, we tell them 2 because in most cases we structure 4 to 6 with the seller. We give you 2 years to get yourself in a position with a lender and your credit and your job history and to obtain your DTI at a low rate to take on ownership, to get financed to buy this property. And so we're willing to allow you the time needed to get your position in a good position to buy that property. What? Really? You would do that? Absolutely. That's what we do. That is the communication that you have with renters to get them to understand that home ownership can become possible. Now, a lot of them don't want to deal with it because here's why. If you notice what I said in there, I said, and be prepared for the responsibilities that come with home ownership. Well, what are those responsibilities? Well, we will not be in a landlord-tenant relationship. You are responsible for anything that needs to be done to that property. You're responsible if a window breaks. You're responsible if your door cracks. You're responsible if your dishwasher breaks. You're responsible if that toilet clogs up. You're responsible as if you were owning that property now. And I always use the example. Think of me as Bank of America. If I gave you a loan to buy that house, would you call me because you wanted your grass cut? Would you call me because your refrigerator's not dispensing ice anymore? No, I wouldn't. That's exactly the relationship we will have in this type of structure. So that I'm very clear with them that I am not going to be bugged or bothered about little things that need to be fixed. That they are stepping into home ownership and they have to obtain that responsibility. I'm also very clear with them that, look, if it is a structural issue, we will allow insurance to take place, but you will be responsible for the deductible. So if the deductible is $500 or if it's $1,000 or if it's $1,500, you're responsible to pay that deductible before the insurance kicks in, just as if you were in home ownership. So I'm very clear with them, and I'm very clear on the expectation, and I'm very clear on their responsibilities that have to be in that process. Why? Because it's very crucial that you communicate correctly with these tenant buyers. I'm also very clear with them for them to obtain the property that they have to make sure that they can afford the monthly payment, plus they have to have an option consideration fee. That's very important. It's called an option consideration fee. So what is the payment? Well, let me explain something to you. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. We need to be able to take over payments that are less than the rental market, because I can charge in a lease option process 15% more than the rental market. So if the rental market's $1,000 a month, then I can charge $1,150 a month for that property. So if I can obtain the property from the seller, let's say their mortgage payment, which let's say it's $700-800, then I can make $300 to $400 a month off that property without ever buying the property. This is the power of controlling assets. This is the key to building cash flow without buying assets. And I communicate that with the tenant buyer, and I let them know that I am doing a sublease to them. And what is that? Well, a sublease means that I have a lease agreement with the seller that gives me the rights to sublease to you so that you can buy this property. I'm very transparent with them. I'm also very transparent on the option fee and that it is non-refundable. The option fee is non-refundable. So let's say I secured with the seller a buy-off of that property for $80,000. And then I go to the tenant buyer and I sell it to the tenant buyer for $95,000. I've got a $15,000 spread in there. I'm going to try to make some up front. I'm going to try to make the cash flow during the property of holding, and I'm going to make some in the end when they close. So the option fee, if it's a $95,000 purchase and I ask for a $5,000 option fee, then obviously the balance in which they owe when it comes time to buy is only $90,000. So that's the option fee, and I let them know it is non-refundable. I even have them sign a disclosure that states it's non-refundable if they don't execute their option to purchase. Now let's talk about that. So if they're going to execute an option to purchase, then they have to comply with a lease to have an option. So with the tenant buyer, we don't use an option purchase agreement. We don't use that, okay? We do with the seller, but not with the tenant buyer. We use a lease agreement. That the lease agreement basically states that if they comply with their lease and they're in good standing at the end of their 2 years lease agreement, they then can have an option to buy the property. I keep them separated. There's a reason I do that. We're going to talk about that on the next part of this, how to stay safe. So therefore, I'm treating them as a tenant coming in with the option to buy. That's why I separate the two, okay? I don't give rent credits. I don't give partial credits. I don't do any of that. We're going to talk about that next because there's some there's some legal issues with that you need to be aware of. But the tenant buyer needs to be aware of a couple of things. Number one, that they have the option to buy the house, and how can you do that? You need to explain it to them. The other thing they need to be aware of is how that's going to happen, and the expectation on them and the responsibilities that they're going to have coming into home ownership. Then we need to validate that they can make the payment. We need to make sure that they're aware that the option fee is non-refundable. And we got to make sure we put all the documents together. Now, people will say, well, Zach, how do you know the seller's not going to go around you? Well, that's called a memorandum. And we're going to talk about on being safe as well. We're going to talk about the memorandum next. We're going to talk about what's called equitable rights. That's going to be, I'm making myself some notes here. We're going to talk about that on the next part. So, but these are things you got to have in place. And so the memorandum allows us the seller can't go around us. The other side of the equation is with your tenant buyer, well, people will say, well, how does that tenant buyer get qualified for a loan if they have bad credit history? Well, they've got to work on that. They've got to know that it's their responsibility to work on that. Or at the end of 2 years, if they can't close, they're going to lose their option fee. The other side of it is we set up what's called a third-party payment processing service. And what this service does is it allows the tenant to make payments to this service. The service then makes payment to the mortgage company, and the difference they send to me, the investor. Now, what does that do? It keeps the seller happy, knowing that their payment's being made. It keeps the tenant buyer happy because they know their money's not being squandered and it's going somewhere, and that company is making sure that the fiduciary responsibilities of the mortgage is being paid. So everybody is in a safe bucket when it comes time to move forward for the execution of closing at the time needed. Now, that type of processing service also gives the tenant buyer a benefit, because when they go to get a mortgage and they're working with a mortgage broker or a loan officer or a banker, that shows track record of good payment history that they can use to help get that tenant buyer qualified to buy that property. So, all right, so listen, that's all about the buyers. This is Zack Childress, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about what you need to know to keep yourself safe. We'll see you. Be back. All right, Facebook, what do you got for me? What do you got for me? What do you have for me, Facebook?
All right, so Steve says, what is the minimum you'd want to make on a lease option to make it worth the time?
That's a great question. Minimums could be a few things. Like on the front end, if I could make $2,000 to $5,000 on the front end, I'm happy. All right. Monthly, I mean, I want to make anywhere from $200 or more per month. That's very important for me. That's the whole purpose of doing it, is for the cash flow. The back end, that ranges. I mean, I don't need to make anything on the back end. If I can make it all on the front and in the middle, I'm fine. But that depends on how much equity is in the property, and over time, will it go up in value? Because remember, Steve, we can negotiate a deal with the seller that says that we're willing to buy it at the time in which we close and what the payoff amount is at that time. So therefore, we can build equity in it over time by having the payments pay down the principal balance.
Okay, he also says, how is insurance handled? Do you insure the property and then have the renter have renter insurance since they don't own the property?
That's absolutely right, because the homeowner has insurance. They can add you on as a rider if in some cases, but in the tenant buyer's position, all they can get is renter insurance. That's it. And in a lot of cases, that's all that you can get if you don't want to go the whole route of getting you added to the insurance policy or getting a rider policy. But we got to remember, the owner still owns this. This is not a subject to, this is not straight line financing. This isn't any of that. This is a lease option purchase. So they still have title to the property. And so therefore, if you have title, you can insure it yourself. So therefore, they leave insurance in place. But one crucial thing, Steve, you might want to write this down, is that they have to change their insurance policy from owner-occupant to non-owner-occupant, because they're no longer living in the property. So that's important to know.
Carly says, you're dropping some serious knowledge here today.
Boom! Play it loud, play it proud, play it like you know it. Here it comes. Dropping bombs, baby. Dropping bombs. Dropping bombs today. I need a big bomb explosion. That's what I need. All right, good stuff. Love questions. Love questions. Love the questions. Love the questions. I think I could go for hours if people just ask questions.
Toby says, I understand how that would work.
What would work?
What you're talking about with the insurance.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, man.
Patrick says, welcome to live real estate training.
You tell him, Patrick. That's as live as it gets, right, my friend? You don't get any live than this, man. This is the reality. This is why they call this the real estate investing talk show with your coach, Zack Childress, not your guru. Get the gurus on the curve. Tell them drive their Lambos and their planes somewhere else. Get in the trenches with us here today. Get in it with us. Roll your sleeves up. Make it a reality. Make it an effort every Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern time zone. You show up here and learn. That's what you need to do. Oh, and by the way, did you get my book? You need to get my book. My First Deal Playbook. Get it. Get it. If you put in today, I want my book, then I will sign you a copy and ship it to you before you have to pay for it. What you do have to pay for, I don't want you guys thinking you're getting everything. You got to pay the shipping and handling. I will let you have the book for free, but you got to get it paid the shipping and handling to have it out to you. So get on it. Get it. All right. What else we got? Boom, Francisca says. That's what I'm talking about. Boom. Hey, let me get a hashtag. Dig deeper. That's what this is about. It's about digging deeper in this market. It's about digging deeper in your pocketbook and making your life easier so that you can get the financial success you want out of life. And what's the better way? Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to a highly educated man today. He's now part of our legal counsel. And he was, guy's been through all kinds of education. He's worked legal counsel for all kinds of corporations, Inc. 500 companies. And he's telling me today that he's like, well, I know you love real estate. He's like, but I feel safe in my mutual funds. Because you know me, what am I going to do? I'm going to start asking how can I get his money. I mean, he is a legal guy. He probably doesn't know what he's doing with his money. Come find out he didn't know what he was doing with his money. He's like, well, I feel safe where I'm at. I'm like, well, that's great. What are you getting on your money? He's like, 6%. I was like, 6%? He's like, well, it's safer than real estate. You guys get what, 8 or 12? I was like, I'm getting 38% on my money. And he just like had this profound look on his face like, 38%? Guys, that's life-changing. You ain't getting it anywhere else. I don't care how educated you are or what school you went to. You want to make serious money, you get into real estate. You dig deeper. You get the right coach that can guide you and teach you, and you will change the destiny in which your financial future looks like. That is a promise right there. No other way to do it. Okay? Get in, and dig deeper. Digging deeper in here today. Please send me my free copy. You got it, Patrick. Getting your money right, guys. That's what it's about. If you don't ever get your life right, you'll never get your money right. You'll never get your money right. I can't tell you how many people out there got a screwed up life and they broke and they wonder why they broke. Well, get your life right, man. Stop going to the bars and hanging out and spending your money every time you get a paycheck. Stop complaining about the world you live in and start making a difference in it. Start contributing as a society and stop being the one that's sitting on the sideline pointing the finger at everything that's going wrong in your life, and it's got to be somebody else. Can't be you. Guess what? You are the only equation that you can change. You can't change anybody else. You can only change you. Change your environment, change you. That's a promise. Whew, man, I need a spritzer. I need to cool off. I'm burning up over here. I'm hot. Let me tell you, I'm hot. I'm on fire today. You guys got to get in the groove, man. I'm telling you, this is where it's at. And the only way to change your environment, number one, you got to be willing to know you need help. Number two, you got to acknowledge that you've got to ask for help. And number three, you got to know where to ask for that help. And I'm telling you right now, opportunity is staring you in the face. And that guy's name is Zack Childress. Right here in front of you. So if you know that you need help, and you know that you got to ask for it, and your question is where do I ask for it? You ask for it right here. You ask for it right here. You pick up the phone and you call us, 707-247-4248. You call that number and you say, Zach told me to call, I need help. Who over there is going to be the right coach for me? Here's where I'm at in my life, and here's where I want to go. That, my friend, is your challenge. I can't help you if you don't ask for it. You got to get in the game, guys. You got to get in the game. You got to get in the game. You got to be willing to say, I want this, but I need help. As soon as you break that barrier, and then you start to realize, oh, I do need help. And you realize I got to ask for it. Help ain't going to just come to me unless I ask for it. That's when things change. So, 38% is not annoying. Toby, that's why I go to bed at night with all these haters out there. Haters are going to be, you know what? I find more joy in watching people succeed and climb the ladder and build their own life and build their own success than I do anything else. I've never been a hater. I will never be a hater. You know why? Because it's a reflection on the epitome of how poor pissed my life is when I'm hating on other people. If I'm hating on you, it's because my life sucks and the only joy I get is trying to take you down with me. And you ain't taking me down. I'm sorry. You ain't taking me down. I've had people bigger and badder try to come after me, and this little Alabama boy keeps on ticking, okay? I call it grinding in the background. Keep building. Keep building. You know what I'm talking about, Toby. You know what I'm talking about. All right, let's finish up this radio show and get back to Facebook. We got it. 4. Where we at?
You want to do the countdown?
Yeah, go. Get it, girl. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
We are going back on air in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, it's Zack Childress, and welcome back to your Blog Talk Radio or your podcast listening. Listen, we've been talking about lease options today, and we've been talking about creative financing. We've been talking about how you can control properties to make cash flow. That's what we've been talking about, and only you can do that with the right education. We've walked you through how to find sellers. We've walked you through how to find buyers, but I'm going to end the radio show with this right here, that you need to know what to do to keep yourself safe. So some simple things is this. Number 1, you want equitable rights with the seller. That is hence why we do a purchase and sales agreement together, an option to purchase agreement. It gives us equitable rights in the property. We do not want to give the tenant buyer equitable rights because we don't own it yet and we can't give it to them. That is hence why we separate the agreements with the tenant buyer. We have a lease agreement and we have a option to purchase agreement. We want to separate that. The other thing that I want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we're clear on is this. Don't ever, ever, ever give rent credits or apply the rent payment towards the principal balance of the purchase price. Because if you do, you move yourself from a tenant relationship to a lender relationship. And one of the reasons that we do lease options is because we don't have to evict or we don't have to foreclose on anyone. We can simply evict the tenant buyer for non-payment. But if you have a savvy tenant buyer and they don't want to make payment and you didn't do your paperwork correctly or you gave them rent credits, they could laugh in your face and tell you, get me out. Because the reality is in that moment, they are no longer a tenant. They are a borrower because you've put yourself in a lender position by applying rents towards a principal balance, which now moves you into a foreclosure process with them. And the worst part is they now have equitable rights. So if there's equity that's been created, they could be entitled to that. Or they could hold the property up longer than needed and put you in a very vulnerable position, and you just don't need to do that. So how do you keep yourself safe? Number 1, you get equitable rights with the seller. Number 2, you do not give the tenant buyer equitable rights. You do not give rent credits. You do not apply any of the rent portion to the principal balance. And the one thing that you need to make sure you keep yourself safe on is having disclosure signed by the tenant buyer that they're aware that they're responsible for all the responsibilities of that property up unto structural damage, which they're responsible for the deductible of the insurance. Also, that there is a disclosure stated for the option consideration fee is non-refundable, and they acknowledge that. Also, to keep yourself safe, you make sure that you have the seller sign a memorandum of option that you can file at the courthouse and have the recorder process that so it clouds the title. For example, if the seller wants to be shady, then what? They might want to go sell that to somebody else. Well, as soon as they pull a title history, what's going to pop up is your equitable interest in that property through the memorandum that was filed, which would then halt all proceedings, and you've put a block in that sale or that refinance if they were going to do that. So that is how you keep yourself safe in the lease options. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's Blog Talk Radio and your podcast. And I just want to say welcome back to the show. If you get excited, go over to Creative Real Estate Training Academy and join us on Facebook. Like us on there. Share the stream. Be part of what we do. This is Zack Childress, your coach in the Real Estate Investing Talk Show. I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye now. Facebook. Listen, if you've enjoyed today, let me see some love. Let me see some thumbs up. Let me see some smiley faces. Share with me. Let me know we're on the same page. Let me know we're doing the right stuff. Let me know you're breathing out there. I want to answer some more questions. Boom. There you go. Show me the love. I love it.
So
I love it.
So we have Paris. She says those glasses make you look really smart and handsome, Zack.
Oh, let me put them back on then. Hey, how in the world do you guys get a flower to come up? I want to know that. I want to know how you get a flower to come up. Somebody was putting flowers up. How you do that?
I know it was an option at Mother's Day.
Somebody put a flower up.
I noticed that last week too. So Justin says,
What's Justin got?
I'm confused. How do you apply the payments to the loan?
You don't apply the payments to the loan. That's why you're confused. Nowhere in there did I say apply the payments to the loan. No. So it's called rent credits or rent distribution is what a lot of people will do. You don't want to do that. You just say, look, to your tenant buyer, you say your payment is $1,150. That goes to the third-party payment processing service. They make sure the mortgage is paid and any difference is sent to you. You don't tell the tenant that any of their payment is being applied to their principal pay down. Remember, we have an original loan with the seller, which has a mortgage on it that has to be paid, but we have a new purchase price with the tenant buyer of $95,000. What we're saying is whatever they pay us, that $1,150, is just the payment they pay every month. It does not take down their $95,000, okay? None of that's being applied to the $95,000 that they're buying it for. We still have to make the mortgage payment on the $80,000 loan that we're taking over from the seller. So don't get those two confused. We're not acting in any way, shape, or form with the tenant buyer that their $95,000 purchase price is getting whittled down by their monthly payment. That's a lender-borrower position. We're not doing that. Nick's got a flower on there. Thanks, Nick. Man, I look really clear in that film there.
You do, don't you?
Yeah.
And we had no issues?
No issues.
Today has been an amazing Facebook Live day.
Amazing Facebook Live day. It's amazing Facebook Live day. You know, it is an amazing Facebook Live day. Guys, you got anything else for me? Any more love for me? Any more hearts? You know, the more I can get you guys to push that heart button and that thumbs up button, that smiley face button, the more Facebook will find our training, what's it called? Relevant in the marketplace. I need you guys like just like the more of that goes on, the more Facebook finds us relevant, which means more people will hear our message, which means more ripples will be made in the stream of this world called financial freedom, which means you will have a part of that, which means you are changing lives just like me. Be part of it, guys. Be part of it.
Oh, we got Ian on here.
What? Glasses, huh? You like my glasses, brother? Boom. Boom, boom. I'm getting smart, man. Too bad the glasses don't have any lenses. You see that? Boop, 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 boop.
Borrow mine.
They just make me look cool. Oh, look, Toby gave me a bunch of flowers, too. Look at there. Way to go, Toby.
A bouquet.
A whole bouquet. I got one of every type on there, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. 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 You guys have been very active today. That's great. I can't wait till we get like 800 people on here, and everybody's trying to talk. What do you mean? Why are you laughing at me, Ian? You crazy man. You're laughing at me. Hey, guess what? Today I will see you in a little bit. All right, Facebook. This is Zack Childress, and I'll see you next time. All right? So, boom, boom, boom. You guys stay safe, stay good, stay live, stay proud, and keep it rocking, guys.